in my work I'm trying to bring together a new kind of knowledge, but in artistic form, in language, and then that also specifically into the theatre, into storytelling, and in storytelling and theatre using metaphor and allegory and all other kinds of imagery to, and this also to go into many forms like the stage, film, TV, all kinds of ways in which these manifest up. But the thing is, really, the difficulty has been that I've been challenging, and still am, challenging the generally accepted picture of reality, which is given us by mainstream, what I call reductionist science. Now, I'm not, I study a lot of science, and I think a lot of it's obviously valid in observing the physical external world, but where I think it's erroneous is this understanding of how things actually came to be and where they will eventually become. We know that this idea of science, the theory of everything, which becomes in some senses in our technology the Internet of Things, the idea that all beingness essentially is mechanism, is really a thing. And this goes together with the idea that there's no supernatural, supersensible world. There's nothing after death. There's nothing, so that we come from a void, we appear, we have characters, we have talents, we have connections, and we go back into a void and we disappear, gone forever. And this is just going on all the time. Things are coming in, they appear, they have significance, they die, they lose significance. And this to me is the ultimate nihilism. This destroys and drains meaning out of every moment of existence if it's taken really literally, which of course it isn't actually, because what happens is that your scientist, who may call himself a complete reductionist and may absolutely mock any other form of idea about the world, still goes home and has relationships and has attachments to people and values that, all that sort of thing. So it's a kind of dishonesty because there's not a real living expression of their thoughts in the way they reach and meet other people. But it's, to me, it's an aberrant, it's a Western way of thinking, really, we can say. And in my work, I'm trying to bring about a synthesis, a reconciliation between the Eastern, to a certain extent, the Eastern where it starts, the idea of ultimate beingness, that all came from being, from consciousness, and all will return to it. We know that the physical, especially in the East, they say, the physical world, everything that's around us will one day be completely gone. Every physical, but the thoughts, the ideas, the consciousness won't. This is the great illusion of modern materialistic science. They give matter this ultimate permanence, and everything else is just nothing. It's just a sort of emergence from this matter. But this is reinforced by their technology, by the particle colliders, this huge temple, this huge activity of these vast machines, which stamp their cosmology, what they think, with an ultimate authority. But of course, if you use things, dead things, as your bridge to perceiving and conceiving understanding of the universe, then that universe, because it has to go through the filter of thingness, will be perceived as a thing. And that is the great tragedy, and that's actually what takes meaning. It takes meaning from life, and that's why I say that people today, there's lots of depression, alcoholism, all kinds of things arise in their origin from this loss of meaning. It may seem ephemeral that meaning can have such an effect, but in the long run, I think it does. It filters down into the human mind, and you bring with you, even if you're an arch materialist, you bring with you experiences of the superphysical. You have it, you have a soul still, Steiner says sometimes there are beings that don't have any egos, but you still have this, and when you come into the world, then you're educated that's not important, that doesn't really exist, it's not a part of your thing. So there is this inner part, which is a deep experience, in conflict with what, to a certain extent, your education programs you with. And that can cause all kinds of lesions in your psychic integration, which is what's happening in the world. And I've experienced it myself when I was at school. I never did any maths. I couldn't do the mathematics. The way they taught it, I knew it was crippling me. I couldn't really clearly say why. Now I do understand it now. So I got much later, I got into mathematics through making mathematical models, which is really how you'd start in certain, the best way of starting children, looking at patterns and shapes